everyone, welcome to today's webinar together with Dell and Windows 11 Pro. With me today I have David Hall from Dell and our Microsoft trainer Ashley Atkinson, and also Martin Sørensen, who will go through the reward program. I will share, no, can I skip that? But we will start with Martin instead going through the reward program, and then David will take over. So the speech is yours, Martin.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Just a quick run through the reward program that we have launched here. It's a landing page for each country, and we urge you to sign up. If I can just, Caroline, can I just share my screen here?
Yeah, you should be able to, I think.
1 second here. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we need to.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. This is a Danish landing page, and just to show you some of the things that you can do here when you enter this page. You have an overview here on all the features and functions, and one of the things I would like to raise your awareness to is this all the assistants. We have created a number of virtual assistants that each has their own theme, where they can tell you about the benefits of an upgrade for Windows 11 Pro and all the stuff that comes with it. So get in here, and what you also can see is this bonus program that we have set up, where you earn bonus points that you can use to go shop in the online shop here as well. And for the early birds, that means a sign up before 30th of June, you will get an extra 2,000 points in bonus. So if you haven't signed up already, please do so, and you'll get started to earn the rewards for this program. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or Caroline, and we'll take care of whatever might be your requests. And I'll share a link to all 4 landing pages here in the chat, so you can access in each country. And that's about it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. The stage is yours, David. I think you have the screen. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, great. Let me just pop over to get my share going. Just a second. Share screen and window. There you go. How is that working? Is that coming up?
Not yet. Let's see if it's pop-ups.
It might take a couple of seconds before the presentation comes up. Is it there yet?
No. Oh, no, I think it's...
And it's looking correct?
Yeah.
Great. All right, then. Then I shall get started, and please shout out if something should happen, because I had a few technical difficulties.
David, I think you should put it in presenting mode.
It's not in present. Is it in the presentation?
No.
If I go there,
we can see all the slides.
Yeah. Has that changed now?
Not yet. No changes yet. But okay, just
David, I've got it up on my screen if you want me to share it, and you can just tell me when to just change the slides. Would that work?
Yeah, that will work fine for me, Ashley. That would be great.
Sure, one moment.
Brilliant. Appreciate that. Great. Okay. All the good reasons to upgrade. So my task today is I'm going to be looking at some of the trends, some of the most important trends that are impacting all of us this year. And the title is a really good one, all the good reasons to upgrade. And the reason for that is we're actually hearing some of our competition out there in the market saying, you know what, you should maybe sit on the products you have this year that you bought last year and maybe sit and wait because there's such a lot of things happening moving forward. And we just don't think that's a very good idea at all. And I'm going to be going through the reasons for that and why you should be talking to your customers about upgrading, about why now is a really, really good time actually for customers to jump on the new technology and capabilities which are there. Okay, so next slide, Ashley, please. Okay, I think you've gone one there. Yeah, great. So I'm starting off with artificial intelligence. So according to me, so this is my view, and because it's all about artificial intelligence in 2024. There's so much information and so many people talking about artificial intelligence. And yes, it is extremely important what they're talking about. And yes, there are enormous capabilities within how far we can push the boundaries for artificial intelligence. But for most of the users out there, I think we need to keep the message really, really simple. And most of us know about the likes of ChatGPT. We know about Siri on the iPhone. We know about Google. So most of us have been using artificial intelligence actually for some years already. And I don't think the way we use artificial intelligence today, for the huge volume of users out there, I don't think that's going to change over the next few years. Not significantly, but there are going to be some changes, and I'm going to be looking at that. So yes, AI is all about using the data that you have or you can access, but using it in a better way, using it in a more intuitive way, being able to ask questions more, using more natural language, and getting the answers and getting the knowledge out of the information you have available much quicker than you could earlier. And I've put up there a really, really simple example of a decision tree, the way AI can help now. And this is a picture that just very, very simply shows that you want a tool to tell you, should I accept a new job offer or not? And it's only got the 3 criteria in there for accepting a new job. It's you want a salary of $50,000. You want to have your new job within an hour's travel distance from where you live, and you want free coffee at work. Very, very simple example. So if all these 3 are actual and they are relevant, then yes, you will accept the offer. So that's a really simple example of how AI and AI applications are going to be starting to develop. So it's not just finding information which is there available to you, but it's actually also helping you make decisions. Next picture, please, Ash. Right, now this is actually nothing more than a very complicated version of the first picture I showed you. So it's an awful lot of question points. You know, for example, the green car, can I drive now or can I not drive now? And if you think about the first picture we looked at where there was a question tree, you know, if A is true, then, you know, let's move on to B, question B. If B is true, let's move on to question C. But now there's thousands of these. All right. So green car has got to look at the situation. It's got to look at the weather. It's got to look at the condition of the car. It's got to look at the people he's seeing in front of him and all around the car. And he's got to look at the status of the lights and so on and so on. So this is a lot more complicated, but it is actually still, to an extent, somewhat simple AI usage. But we see this is the direction of applications. And if you can start transferring this thinking into your own companies or your customers' companies, and start thinking what you can do with all the information that these companies have, you start seeing new possibilities for how you can use AI tools. And the next slide, Ashley. And the final example on this page as well is something which I think everybody will be able to connect with, and that is the huge explosion within health and medical services about using AI. Now, what we're looking here is X-ray pictures of a head, and to you and me, it's not telling us anything whatsoever. To a doctor, a highly trained doctor, looking at X-rays of the head, of the brain, he can look at this and say, well, that's a healthy brain on the left. On the right-hand side there, no, there's issues there that we need to look at. All right. But this is a highly, highly trained doctor who can look at these pictures and he can discern, what issues he's looking at, and also determine what kind of reactions based on the pictures he's looking at. Now, imagine if we could take the capabilities, the learning, the experience of this doctor and put them down into the same kind of question tree. If question A, then question B. If not question B is true, then we have to move on to question C and D and so forth, and becomes very, very complex. But we're capturing all the experience and the knowledge of this doctor. We're putting it into a model, and now we're enabling many simple doctors, your general practitioners, we're enabling them to maybe look at X-ray pictures and identify issues a lot quicker than having to send this to one of the few doctors in the area or in the country who are able to read these kind of X-ray pictures. All right, so it's still simple, fairly simple AI from the perspective of what the computer is doing, except apart from the magnitude of information that it's looking at and the number of questions that the tool itself is actually running through and addressing in order to get to some sort of reasoning or some sort of answer based on the information that it has available. So again, AI at the moment is still being able to access data and be able to extract knowledge and reasoning out of that data in a way that we haven't been able to do earlier. Next slide, please, Ashley. Okay, if you could start, and if you just move the pointer over that picture, you should be able to start a little video, and we can just have a look at that video there. I'm not hearing any audio. Does everybody else hear it?
No, I can't hear anything.
Apologies, one moment. I'll get that back up. Let's try that again.
Translation process will start. Good morning. This is a demonstration of how our new software works.
Bueno, esta mañana es una demostración de cómo funciona el nuevo software.
Then to get out.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot for getting that to work, Ashley. Because this is a great example, because this is one of the newer areas where I think a lot of us will be seeing AI coming onto our PCs and giving us new capabilities. And that's on the fly, real-time translation. Okay, so there the person is using a watch and he's speaking into the watch, and the watch is translating into a different language. Now, obviously, think about traveling abroad, and you're sitting in a restaurant or wherever, and you want to say something to somebody who doesn't speak English or your language. So you speak into your phone and the phone translates, and there you go. But imagine classrooms. Imagine talking to professional people in totally different languages and being able to have real-time translation. So this is of huge benefit. So that's a really good example of newer applications, which I think we're going to be seeing a lot of coming up quite soon. Next picture, Ashley. Next slide, sorry.
Translation process.
There, and this is just showing again that art as well. You know, you can do an awful lot of creativity stuff. You can take existing art and create new versions. You can take existing pictures of people and create avatars and implement them into your daily work much quicker, much easier, and a more fun way as well than what you've been doing earlier. And go to the final slide, Ashley. Yeah, and in just a second, I'll get Ashley to press the button on this, but let me just explain. This is Clara. So this is our digital support person internally in Dell. And I think this is going to be really cool. Think about all the chatbots out there, which work to a certain extent. Some just don't work at all. You know, if you get in touch with your net bank, if you get in touch with your insurance company, you know, retail store, whatever you want to do online, very many of these companies that you're trying to interface with, they have chatbots, but it's just so poor, the interface that you have. Now imagine Clara here. The example, which actually is going to start pretty soon, is just going to show you me texting in a question about our new 49-inch monitor and all the capabilities it has. But I could have very easily have just spoken that question to Clara as well, and she could have answered. But Ashley, just press the button there and let's see what happens.
Our 49-inch monitor is a high-resolution display designed to provide an immersive viewing experience. It offers crisp and clear visuals, making it ideal for gaming, multimedia, and productivity tasks.
Okay, that's great. Ashley, you can go to the next picture. So I think Clara there is a really, really good example of what a lot of us are going to see, where we're going to see the ability to interact with information within our own companies, but in a much more natural way. We can use voice, so we can speak to the applications, or we can use text, so we can choose what works best for us, and we're going to get much better answers back from the digital people that we interact with as well. So, okay, so back to the initial question as to why that my presentation concerns, should you upgrade or not? Well, the first point I want to raise is that Intel Core i CPUs, which is last year's CPUs introduced by Intel, they could probably handle a lot of the AI that most of us have been doing up until now. So I'm thinking about Google. I'm thinking about the interfacing with your iPhone type of AI. Siri, can you do this for me? You know, Alexa, can you do that for me? So, you know, existing platforms which have been in place, you know, they've got a CPU, they've got a GPU, whether an internal one or a dedicated GPU, and they can, generally speaking, handle what's been going on now. But if you think about, next slide, please, Ashley. If you think about what we've been looking at with the upgraded applications, the upgraded tools which are coming, more use of voice, more use of audio, more use of pictures, and integrating with the PC and the applications in a totally different way, then I think it's quite understandable that we're probably going to be needing more resources locally, or we could certainly do with more resources locally. So what we're looking at is this year's CPU platform from Intel, which is now called Core Ultra CPUs. They have what we call AI-aware engines. So the yellow box further down, the NPU, that's new within the CPUs this year. So you have the CPU like we had last year. We have the GPU, but now we have the NPU in addition. And as it says there, this is a dedicated low-power AI engine. So initially, this is aimed at taking all the AI applications and working with those and making sure they work as seamlessly as possible. But what's really, really good, and why this is extremely important, is if you understand the fact that all applications this year are being written to work on these NPU chips, okay? That's really important. So whether or not you're actually going to be using the AI capabilities within Microsoft, within Adobe, within all these other applications, it doesn't really matter if you're going to be using the AI or not. They'll still be running on the NPU chip. And if you look at the headline down there, it says dedicated low power AI engine. And one of the great advantages of this year's Intel platform versus last year is the battery performance. So you get much more battery life. And one of the reasons is that a lot of the software that last year was running on the CPU and GPU only is this year also able to run on NPU. Whether or not you're going to be using the AI capabilities within that software or not, it's going to be running on the NPU engine, which uses a lot less power than the other two modules there, the CPU and the GPU. Take Teams, for example. If you're in Teams and you're running a blurred background for it, then that typically runs on the GPU and the CPU, and it consumes an awful lot of resources. But now it can run on the NPU, and you're saving an awful lot of battery life. So that's really important, whether you're using AI or not. So it's an additional benefit. Next slide, please. Starting to wrap this up now. So in addition to all the AI capabilities that you get on the Intel Core Ultra platform this year, in addition with Dell PCs, it says there you're getting less power consuming components, which is going to give you quieter PCs and longer battery life. So we've already talked about that. So what you might not know right now is that you're getting significantly better and faster communications as well. They've jumped a huge step upwards from last year to this year with WLAN 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. 4G and 5G mobile broadband we had last year as well, but we see a steep rise in the uptake of more mobile broadband, very much based on AI capabilities. In addition, we've got much better audio and video electronics within our PCs, which are giving you higher quality audio and much better pictures from your webcams as well. And last but not least, the improved sustainability is also very, very important for everybody. And a lot more people are not just asking about this, they're also demanding sustainability features within the PCs that they buy. And for this year, what's new from as far as Dell's concerned is we're using 50% recycled cobalt in all our batteries. And I think that's a great step forward as far as sustainability goes. Next slide, please, Ashley. So wrapping up here now, I just want to finish off with why Intel. There is several other players that have suddenly jumped into the spotlight here and saying, you know, well, we're good at doing AI as well, and we're good at doing this. So why Intel? Next slide, please. And why Intel? From my perspective, it's quite simple because Intel is the biggest. All right, Intel is the main CPU chip manufacturer when it comes to PC technology, without doubt. Yes, there's others out there, and there's others who are really, really good in specific usage scenarios. But if you look at the software, it stands to reason that all those software vendors, when they're changing or adapting their software to work on AI electronics, AI chips, they're going to be doing it on Intel platforms first because it's the biggest. They're not going to choose the smallest platform in the marketplace. They're going to choose the biggest, and they're going to adapt and they're going to evolve first and foremost on that platform. Not to forget the physical technology as well, such as Thunderbolt 4, Intel vPro. These are technologies that Intel own and they drive, and they are going to be the first ones to bring these things to market as well. So next slide, please, Ashley. So we think Intel is the platform to choose. And also, of course, you probably noticed I haven't said very much about Microsoft at all because Ashley's coming on now. He's going to talk about Microsoft. But Dell on Intel and Microsoft platform is a very, very strong platform to choose. And definitely buying new products, new platforms in 2024, you're going to get an awful lot of benefits, and users as well are certainly going to be noticing that they have a new and better and more future-facing platform than they have before. Over to you, Ashley.
Awesome, David. Thank you so much. That's really valuable and insightful. I think it's going to be hard to come back with that one, but let me just change my shared screen so I can share my content now, and we will begin. So I will just say for this one, you will need your phones with you. I'll make sure my camera's on so you can see me. Hello. And I'm going to just share my screen. We won't have any audio in this, so I can do a nice, easy screen share. There we go. And if you have your phones near you, there will be some QR codes throughout this training session, so you may want to scan ahead. What you have on the screen right now is our Expert Zone learning platform. If you're not familiar, this is an area where you can upskill on everything Microsoft, whether it be Windows, it could be Xbox, it could be anything that is around the Microsoft ecosystem. And this particular accreditation and register site is the place where we recommend you go to get an understanding and the full understanding of what we covered in today's session. That's it from that. Let's move on to our next slide. So as David said before, this is all about good reasons to upgrade, and I'm here to show you the reasons why to upgrade from a Windows 11 perspective. So let's look at the general understanding of Windows that we're all familiar with. So Windows 11 is the most secure platform ever, and it has all those amazing AI enhanced features, which we're going to go into in some detail as well. Obviously not so much because we are in a very finite amount of time, but I'll try and cover as much as I can. And also what we want to encourage, or the message we want to tell customers, is that with all those features that are embedded in Windows 11 Pro as standard out of the box, there's an immense amount of return on investment for those customers. And we've got the data to back it up as well. Let's understand you and the audience. Where do you stand in your knowledge? So I'm going to get Caroline to launch a poll for me. It should be in the chat. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I think it's up.
It's up, excellent. So if you can go ahead and rate your knowledge 1 to 5, 5 being not really knowledgeable, and 1 being not very knowledgeable at all, just to get an idea of the audience. I'll give you a few seconds to answer those. Yep, it's now just up. A bit longer for more votes, and then we'll jump into the content. Okay, thanks very much. If you can close down that poll for me. Excellent. I see we've got definitely a wide range of abilities and knowledge in the group, which is fantastic. So really want to give a really good, nice summary, nice, concise information about how we can reinforce that messaging of all those good reasons to upgrade. Some of them you may already know, but it's nice to have that reinforcement that you know that you've got the right knowledge to apply when speaking to customers. So let's move on to our first part. And the first part we're going to talk about is our pillars. We have 4 pillars in which we like to, in ways we can express the messaging of how to convey the benefits of Windows 11 Pro. It's about securing those opportunities, and here are the 4. Our first one is about more security, less cost. This is the #1 trigger we found from customers in studies, that the main reason customers get a new device is about security concerns. The device hasn't got the security features we need. Interestingly, those requirements have increased when it comes to the minimum requirement for a Windows 11 upgrade, having those security features. We're going to go into more detail about that shortly, so listen out for that. Easy to migrate, future ready. This is about making sure that the migration pains of your customer are satisfied. How can we make it easy for customers move from Windows 10 to Windows 11? And some of those barriers can be, how can you not disrupt my business from day to day? How can you make sure that my employees aren't not being productive because they're doing upgrades on all those things that could delay and impact the business? Compatibility, and more specifically, app compatibility. Given that Windows 11 is built on the foundations of Windows 10, 99.7% of all applications work on Windows 11. By giving that bit of reassurance to customers that they will have all their business applications working without issue on their new Windows 11 devices, or those that actually can go for the upgrade. Enable exceptional work anywhere. What are we talking about? This is about the employee experience. Users day to day want devices that help them to work better and more efficiently, more productively. If that can't happen, if the device is slow, if the device has poor power usage, think about what David mentioned earlier. Is the CPU being taxed by certain things? Is it able to meet today's need for those AI-powered tools? Maybe not. This is where we can say that Windows 11 Pro devices, again by the minimum spec, and the new devices that are coming out into the market will meet those needs for those users. And lastly, devices for business transformation, given the option of performance and all form factors as well, depending on what the user needs. So it's all about the workloads of the user and how they want to interact with their device as well. We have many options that they can go within the same operating system. And these are the very key 4 pillars that we allow us to memorize and clearly articulate the needs of the customer. Because customers you speak to may have different needs at that time, and then you can see where you can apply this messaging going forward. Now, given all that we've said in these 4 pillars, this all generates a really interesting return on investments in a recent study, 250% within 6 months, due to all the factors we're going to be talking about in the 4 pillars. Particularly for this training session, we're going to cover just 2. The more security, less cost, and enables exceptional work anywhere. And then I want you to remember this slide because we're going to come back to this at the very end in the summary, and it may be slightly different. So do watch out for that change. So with security, we have many things out of the box already enabled with our Windows 11 devices, meaning that we can have that reassurance to our customers that they're protected as soon as they get that device as well. And these are things like TPM 2.0. This is hardware-enabled protection. This enables other features to work as well, such as BitLocker. BitLocker is a tool or a feature within Windows 11 Pro devices that allow the encryption of data. So if a device is ever stolen, that data cannot be retrieved by a bad actor. We also have other ways that we can protect the device as well. Typically, when it comes to cyber threats, they would attack those key installations, those key softwares that make the operating system to work. So when it boots up, it can go for those particular kernel files, we call them. What we've done within Windows 11 Pro is we've isolated those particular key applications. So they're not mixed in with any of the software applications that are on board the device. So what would be the route to actually having a cyber attack is to infect the software, and that software would then attack the operating system's key applications. With isolation, that's segregated. So they can't infect those key operating systems, thereby protecting the system in its day-to-day activities. We also have other ways to strengthen the security as well, like Windows Hello. This is things like pins, your fingerprint biometrics, and also passwordless sign-on as well. These all come together because when you want to, we are now in a hybrid world now. We're not always in the office. So ways in which to protect the device is important. If I'm in a cafe and I am irresponsible and decide to walk away from my device, it will lock with presence sensing. And if I come back, it will then unlock at the same time. These are things that these are simple things that encourage and protect the device and people's credentials daily. So these are all the key things you can talk about and give that reassurance to customers that are keen and are concerned about security within their business. So just to make sure I've conveyed the messaging clearly, I have a poll for you, or easy question. It's A, B, C, or D. If I could ask Caroline to launch the poll for me. Thank you.
Yep.
Excellent. And it's now up. So please give your best guess. I did say at the beginning, at the 4 pillars. Now, which is the top trigger for a device refresh according to our recent study? Let's have a look what our answers were. Excellent. Oh, okay. I'll wait a few more seconds for any more votes. That's brilliant. Thanks so much for that. Now, the answer is indeed B. That was the answer in the study that we found that the biggest reason for a device change was security. It doesn't mean that every customer you see will have that same need. So for those who picked anything other than security, that's okay. It wasn't the answer in this case, but it may be the answer in a conversation you have with a customer going forward. And again, these are all good reasons to upgrade. None of them is a bad one. It's just that we need to identify that when we speak to customers. So really good. Thank you for taking part in that one. And let's move on to our next part. So obviously, we're going to speak about AI and how AI is integrated into the platform, how we're using all the technology that we get from OEMs and devices in the Windows 11 platform. So within Windows 11, we not just have just AI-powered tools, we have AI-powered chatbots. And one we all talk about is Copilot. Now on the slide, you see it is using Bing Chat Enterprise. That is the old branding. So it's actually Copilot in Windows gives you AI-powered answers. And it's Copilot in Windows also gives you AI-assisted workflows. The second one actually is quite interesting. This is the one where you can actually change settings within your device depending on what you ask it to do. It could be you want to have a dark mode or you want to have a focus time. It can actually put the timer on for you to have a focus period and turn off all notifications on your device. These are things that sound simple and small, but they do add up to time saved, maybe even buying time back. We do work in a hybrid world now, and that's not going away. And in the security section, which we mentioned about all those key features, about how we can protect the user, not just on the device, but against other threats that may appear from other avenues. So hybrid is also having an issue where we are seeing more emails, more chats, more meetings. So we have less time to be innovative. So how can we improve that? We can help take that workload off the individual and maybe apply it to a tool that has some interaction. And this might typically seem similar to having a colleague next to you. And that's how I see AI, and that's how I see Copilot. So we need to think about how we can apply this technology going forward. And I'm going to give you some key examples of how we can show this to customers to show its true value. Other AI recommendations we have as well. So as you start using a Windows 11 Pro device, the more files you use, the more apps you use on a regular basis, the operating system will start to show you those files and applications more frequently, as it knows that that's what you use more often. Therefore, eliminating the need to have to search for these files and applications on a day-to-day basis. Now, it might take a few minutes in your day-to-day life, but add that over weeks, months, and years, that adds up. And that's time that you could be easily spent doing other things. I can honestly say that I've also, been searching for files, through many different folders because I couldn't find the file I was looking for. And Copilot actually does have that impact in helping you look for files as well. Smart searching. This is like a UI interface change, and it's really, really powerful. Not only does it allow you to just search the web, but it means you can search the files too. So it does come in hand with the AI recommendations when you're looking through the File Explorer. Now, if you're like me, I do work from multiple screens, and most likely your customers do too. So I actually do use the feature of Snap Layouts where I can actually organize my workload. I have multiple screens, even now communicating with you to deliver the best training on this topic possible. So we do have that functionality, and we do like to make it work with other devices as well, such as click and touch. So it is effective, and it does make people that much more productive. And obviously we do work with multiple desktops. So AI, will it really fix work? Will it talk about addressing those concerns that people have? Are we going to see a change? Is it going to really have an impact? The data suggests yes. So we know that people would happily not having that struggle. They're having that pain. I have a pain potentially when it comes to writing emails. I delay that sometimes because I find it hard to communicate that message the first time. It's usually 3 or 4 emails before I get that message through. But things like AI-powered tools may have a way of eliminating that. 70% of people would say that they would use AI to lessen their workload. And I would say that I'm probably part of that 70%. And I'll say not more than probably, definitely. So what can we say from findings such as these? And again, we've mentioned about the more time using Teams and meetings and everything else. We need to take away from this some key findings and how we can apply that as a tool. What can we do to create something from that? Well, we know there's a debt, a collaboration tax, if you will, about everything we're doing in this hybrid world. We're putting off innovation to get the thing done. We also need to know that AI Employee Alliance is a thing, which is more about having a respect for AI, more of a, it's not a threat, it's a companion, it's your assistant, it's your day-to-day thing that you can use. But also we need to think that our employees need to have an aptitude, how they can use it effectively. It's not just a search engine. I find I cannot now use search engines now because I type like as if I'm talking to it, and it doesn't give the information I expect it to now, funny enough. So it's an adjustment to change your patterns. Now I find myself not using search bars as much as I do. But an attitude in AI is absolutely necessary. And I hope to give you an example in the next demo. Now we do have, I'm going to go back a step. We do have if you have got your phones with you, there's a QR code on the screen now. This will take you to the article that I've just mentioned and about all the statistics. So I do invite you to have a look at that, and by all means use Copilot to summarize the document or read it through. It's very useful and it's going to be very handy when you're speaking to customers going forward. Right, so we have a demonstration on Copilot in Windows. Now, Copilot in Windows comes with the operating system, and it comes with it for free. It is in all the licenses that you're likely to give all your customers. That's the E3s, the E5s, Business Standard, and Business Premium. You can also get Copilot for free as well. There's a free version of that. The one that comes with the business licenses, that comes with commercial data protection. So there's 2 different versions, free and commercial data protection. The commercial data protection, as you can see on the screen, has a protected symbol in the top left. All commercial data does not get sent to Microsoft. So our large language model that we use to create, that we link to when you type in a normal language response or prompt to our Copilot tool, it connects to the large language model, and it gives you a response in terms of what you're trying to ask it. It understands what you're trying to say. What we're doing here is we're telling it, we're not training it, we're not using your information in any way. So when people start using AI tools, they should be using that with commercial data protection, and this is what Copilot offers you within the Windows 11 Pro. So as a trainer, as a reseller, in fact, I've got a particular page on the early adopters of Copilot. How did they use it? How did they get on with the tool? So what we're going to do is look at this article, and I'm going to investigate what the benefits were in this example. So let's go ahead and have a look. So I'm going to open the tool up. I'm going to put in my prompt, and I'm going to summarize the website. Now this, for those who are quite experienced, this is quite common. This is a very, very typical prompt when you're trying to see a massive amount of information and trying to delve deeper into what you can see and get the key information out of it. What I'm going to go further with is how we can go into more of a conversation style with the tool. So you see here, I've got some key topics. What I want to do as a reseller is to explain to a customer about a key metric. And this one is going to be about the productivity gains for their customer. Again, a good reason to upgrade. Let's go a step further. So we're now on the second stage of my prompting. I've got the information, but I now want to deep dive into the productivity gains here. This is it, giving me that much more detail in what I'm looking for. And now I can actually approach a customer with this information if I choose to. But now I want to go a step further. How can I make this actionable? This is a nice information about knowledge and how I can think for myself, but I want to go one step further and create a script, something I can use on a daily basis to interact with customers, or maybe for my team, or if I'm a reseller manager, I can give it to my team to use. So therefore, they're empowered, they've got a standardized process, and they've also got the key information about the tool as well. So let's see how that looks when we ask Copilot to go further. And again, this is the same interaction. While you're seeing this happen in real time, I would like you to think about, you'd have to read the document from beginning to end. You have to understand it, summarize it, and then come up with a script yourself. As you can see on the screen, it's there, clear and easy there. I can edit this, tailor it to what I need, add in any particular reward programs I need to have, and it's ready to go. That's the power of Copilot as an AI assistant for the workplace, and that is a good reason to upgrade. So we've seen here the research, the jumpstarts, and how we can tailor things for our customers' workloads. I won't go too much into that, but I think we've kind of got a good grasp of that. I'm just cautious of time, but I do want to end on what's in it for you. There's an opportunity. We know about the end of support for Windows 10, and it's coming up. It's October 14th, 2025. This is important because this is where we are, where we see an uptake in demand. What I mean by that is back when Windows 7 was end of support, we saw within 8 to 6 quarters before the end of support an uptake, increase in demand for new devices. We are probably on the cusp of that for Windows 10 to Windows 11. So that we do believe that there will be an increase in demand between now and end of support. So that's an opportunity to capitalize on that demand. We think that that's where we think that is something that you need to take into account when seeing customers. They may be not aware of the amount of devices that need to upgrade. They may be not aware of, they may think it's too few, or they may think it's too many, or it's too hard. Now we know it's not too hard because app compatibility, and we know it may be less or maybe more, but because that's something we need to address, and that can be done through an assessment that you can do and have the conversation with the customer. And that's finally the end of my session. I apologize, it's a very short one, but thank you so much for your attendance. Please fill in the feedback poll in the chat. And while we're doing that, I'm going to give you a quick summary as well. If you can put in the chat what you'd like to see next, that would be absolutely amazing from Microsoft perspective. But here is the 4 pillars, and I did say at the end they might be slightly different. So as you can see here, I have my titles and I have my descriptions. Just a quick question, are they all correct? Just if you give a quick read, and if you're not sure, yes or no, or true or false, are they all correct on the screen? I'll look in the chat for any answers once you've done your feedback. Does anyone see any glaring issues with the final slide? Okay, I'll give you a hint. They're all incorrect, but I'll just switch them around. This was the actual answers. All of them were incorrect. So you have more security as the first trigger, easy to manage as the top barrier, exceptional work anywhere as the second trigger for a device refresh, and devices for business transformation as the back demand for performance and reliability. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate everything and all your engagement. I'll hand it back over to Caroline to end the session. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you, for today. And I just want to remind you again to visit our website and read more about the Windows 11 Pro campaign that we have, and discover our AI assistants and all. Yeah, thank you so much for today.